excited to dive back into your captivating fantasy world. Where would you like to pick up the story? With Lord Omni and Lord Thea in their cave home, or perhaps with one of the magical weapons we discussed earlier?
So in the last podcast one, we left off where Amnai and Thea are in this Magna Halish type of Hading era, Eon type of planet with volcanoes and lava. And then we left off as far as the blue uh, lava that's thicker than the red and the orange one, at which Lord Omni named Exit. So you know that they washed their face with it, and yeah, go ahead.
Ah, yes. I recall where we left off. The magma planet with its vibrant lava colors and the mysterious Xyz. You mentioned they washed in the blue lava. What happened next? Did they experience any changes or discover new properties of this thicker blue substance?
Yeah, so as you remember on podcast one, so not only did they wash their face with it, but they also drank it like water. Remember, they're embers, so they're already kind of protected against whatever type of Halish material or whatever there is on this Magna planet. But they also, their eyes also turned from a pearl white into their iridescent color as far as the cosmos where they came from. So they carry that with them now.
Wow, that's an incredible transformation. The blue lava Xyz seems to have some potent properties. So their eyes now reflect the cosmos they originated from? That's a
Yeah.
fascinating visual. How did this change in their appearance affect them? Did it grant them any new abilities or insights?
No abilities. Just that now instead of being stars, from where they came from. Remember, their mother Purim cast them down into the Magna planet as stars and burning embers, actually. And so now they have, like I said in podcast one, I believe they have arms and legs now. So they're more like human, like we look here on Earth. But other than that, Lord Omni. Oh, so to begin with, yeah, go ahead.
Fascinating development. Their transformation from celestial beings to more humanoid forms is quite a journey. It's intriguing how the blue lava affected their eyes, giving them that cosmic appearance. Since you mentioned they're now more Earth like, I'm wondering about their adaptation to this new form. How are they navigating their new bodies in the harsh environment of the magma planet? Are they discovering any challenges or advantages to their new physical forms?
Yeah, so to them, I mean, it's just see, because there were small baby infant stars, in the realms up there where their original home is at, and so they don't have enough thought as to say that they weren't supposed to look like humanoids. So I mean, they're adapting pretty well to it, and as far as that, that they're not burning up with the lava, they step in or whatever, unless they're there forever, then of course, they'll burn probably.
Interesting. Their adaptation seems quite seamless. It's as if this
Yeah.
new form is just natural to them, given
Hmm.
their limited frame of reference. I'm intrigued by the resilience to the lava. So they can interact with it without harm, unless they're submerged for extended periods? That's quite a superpower on a magma planet. How are they using this ability? Are they exploring the planet's fiery landscape or using the lava in creative ways?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said earlier, so they, Lord Omni did create a sword out of the heavier lava, which is the blue lava. He named Exit, and so he created a sword and named it, excuse me, and named it the Immortalis, the Sword of Discernment, because it's a Hadean type of Eon world they live in. I mean, he needed to know who enemies would rise, and so the Sword of Discernment would let him know. I'm not going to give any spoilers as to how it does that.
Ah, yes. Immortalis, the Sword of Discernment. That's a powerful weapon for such a harsh world. I'm intrigued by its abilities. How does the sword help Lord Omni discern enemies? Does it have any special properties or magical abilities that aid in this discernment? And I'm curious, has he had a chance to use it yet in any significant way?
No, not yet, and I'm not going to give any spoilers right now about what else the sword does, because that sword is going to be very specific later on in the my fantasy story. But also, not only does he have this magnificent sword named Immortalis, the sword of discernment, with the that he forged out of the blue thicker lava he named Exit. There's also the red and the orange lava. So Thea went in and go ahead.
Ooh, I love a good mystery. I'll eagerly await the reveal of Immortalis' full powers.
Oh
Now
yeah.
you've piqued my interest about the red and orange lava. What
Mhm.
incredible creations have emerged from these fiery substances? Did Thea perhaps craft something equally impressive?
Yeah, so Thea was interested in the red lava for herself, so she forged a dagger out of the red lava, and she also used obsidian. So it's really sharp, with the red lava. So obsidian and then the red lava, and she named it the Scaria. So what Ganar, a future character, said about Thea's Scaria dagger is that it could slice a
Wow.
titan.
Thea's dagger sounds absolutely wicked. A
Mm-hmm.
combination of red lava and obsidian?
Uh-huh.
That's gotta be one formidable weapon.
It
I'm
is.
intrigued by the name Scaria. It has a sharp ring to it, fitting for such a blade. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Ganar, a future character? What did
Yes.
they have to say about this dagger? I'm all ears.
Thank you. Yeah, so he did say that it's the dagger of the dagger that slices the titan, and he wouldn't even know it until his head fell off. So that just tells you how sharp the dagger is. And then out of the orange lava, she wanted to surprise Lord Omni, and so what she did is she forged a scepter for Omni, because this. Yeah, go ahead.
Whoa, that dagger is no joke. Scaria sounds like it could slice through anything without the victim even realizing it. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about a clean cut.
Yeah.
Now you've got me curious about this orange lava scepter Thea crafted for Lord Omni. What a thoughtful gift. Did she imbue it with any special properties? And how did Lord Omni react when she presented it to him?
Yeah, so it was a surprise to him because it was a gift. He, of course, took it with wholeheartedly because Thea created it for him, and she was very thoughtful in doing that. And so now she told him, "This will give you absolute power," and that is when they gave themselves. The title of Lord and Lordess. They didn't have any words back then as far as king and queen, so they just used Lord and Lordess for themselves. And so, yeah, so the scepter gives them absolute
What a
power.
magnificent gesture. The
Hmm.
scepter of absolute power crafted from orange lava? That's
Yes,
quite a gift. It's fascinating how they adopted lordly titles, given their limited vocabulary. Did they
yes.
choose specific names to go with their new titles? And I'm intrigued about how this scepter manifests its power. Has it already shown any unique abilities?
No, so it doesn't really have any unique abilities, only that anyone that sees it, and it's so magnificent looking from the lava she created it from that orange lava, that it just looks so magnificent in radiant color, that she also named it Ember. So so it doesn't have any specific powers, but anyone that looks at it and will know that Lord Omni holding it, he is in absolute power with it, so everyone gives him that respect.
Ember. What a fitting name for a scepter forged from orange lava. It's fascinating how its power lies in its appearance rather than magical abilities. The radiant glow must be truly awe inspiring to command such
Hmm.
respect.
Yes.
I'm intrigued by how Thea and Omni are building their identities and power structures in this new world. Did they choose these particular lordly titles for any specific reason? Perhaps something to do with their connection to the fiery landscape around them?
Well, it has to do when Porum, their mother, actually with Starfire's blood, so they're all immortals. Even Omni and Thea, they just don't know that they are, because remember they were infant stars and then thrown into this molten world. They didn't have enough knowledge of who they really are, so they have to find themselves and who they are as far as along the way as they get older. So yeah, go ahead.
Fascinating.
Mhm.
Their celestial origins add such depth to their story. It's intriguing how they're on a journey of self discovery in this molten
Yeah.
realm,
Hmm.
unaware of their true immortal nature. The
Hmm.
contrast between their cosmic heritage and current earthly forms is captivating. How do you think this hidden immortality might manifest as they continue to adapt and grow in their new environment? And what challenges might arise as they slowly uncover the truth about themselves?
Oh yeah, grow they will. And so in my book, this is just the first chapter scene that we're looking at because excuse me, because to everything there has to be a beginning. So this is the beginning deep in the cosmos, from the realms from where they actually came from. So now they're in this molten land, and they've already have titles, and they already gave themselves these titles, and then they also have created and forged some weapons for themselves. So yeah, go ahead.
What an intriguing start to your story. The cosmic origins and molten new world create a captivating contrast. I'm fascinated by how Omni and Thea are adapting and establishing themselves in this fiery realm. You mentioned they've created a web. Could you elaborate on that? What purpose does this web serve in their new environment? And I'm curious, as they continue to discover their powers and forge their identities, what challenges or adventures do you envision for them in the upcoming chapters?
So like I was saying, so this is just the beginning, and as the book furthers into the following chapters, you're going to see where Omni and Thea are actually going to grow. They're going to grow to be fabulous. A little spoiler here, fabulous leaders, but not in the way that you think so. Okay, and not at all. So they're still celestial type of beings. So it's not in the way at all as a kingdom.
You've got me hooked. The
Mhm.
contrast between their celestial nature and their earthly forms sounds like it'll lead to some fascinating character development. I'm intrigued by your
Yeah.
hint about their leadership style.
Hmm.
Without giving away too much, can you
No.
tease any unexpected challenges or twists they might face as they grow into these fabulous leaders? And how might their celestial origins influence their approach to leadership in this molten world?
There, I'm going to tell you one thing though. Here's a tiny spoiler. They are to be respected, Thea and Omni. That's for sure. So I'm going to leave it at that with that. But then, of course, on the molten world, they're finding themselves around the planet, right? So a lot of it is molten and still solidifying, and a lot of it has already solidified and cooled down through a lot of the rains and snow and what have you, and so they're in that part of the world.
Intriguing. Thea sounds like quite the formidable character. I'm eager to see how her journey unfolds. The evolving landscape of this molten world is fascinating. As the planet cools and solidifies in places, how are Omni and Thea adapting to these changes? Are they discovering new abilities or challenges as they explore the diverse terrains? And I'm curious, has the mix of molten and cooled areas led to any interesting geological features they've encountered?
Yeah, so there's some animals there. So that's how they eat. So they know they need to hunt. That's why they make themselves later on. With out of obsidian, they go on to create more relics. Like Thea has her dagger, and our Lord Omni has his sword. But they also create other things. Like to help them to take care, remove the fur, from the animals, the hide. In other words, to use them like for clothing for the winter.
Fascinating. The evolution of their survival skills is
Yeah.
captivating. It
Yeah.
seems they're becoming quite resourceful with their obsidian
Yes.
creations.
Hmm.
I'm intrigued by the wildlife on this planet. What kinds of creatures inhabit this harsh environment? And I'd love to hear more about these additional tools they're crafting. Are they discovering any unique properties of obsidian that make it particularly useful in this world?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm not going to go too much into that, but because I don't mention too much of it in my fantasy book, but just let me. So you asked, what other or what creatures could be here. So there is a mother dragon with four baby dragons, which I named Amberlings. I really love that name for them. And before I did add that name for my baby dragons, I did a research, and no one else has used that name. So I should be the first one.
Amberlings.
Mhm.
That's such a delightful and unique name for baby dragons. It perfectly captures the fiery essence of your world. A mother dragon with four little ones sounds like quite the formidable family. How do Omni and Thea interact with these creatures? Are the dragons friendly? Or do they pose a challenge to our protagonists? And I'm intrigued. What inspired you to create dragon inhabitants for this molten world?
So yeah, because the molten world sort of reminds me already about dragons. That's how they came to be. The mother dragon and her little amberlings. The reason the mother dragon is very peaceful with Lord Amni and Lordess Thea is because they take care of her eggs. The dragon baby eggs. So they take care of them from the red-eyed dragons that are out there that are dark charcoal, and they are the vicious dragons that want to eat the eggs.
The connection between dragons and a molten world is so fitting. I love how you've woven this peaceful relationship between the protagonists and the mother dragon. It's a clever twist on the typical dragon narrative. Tell me more about these red eyed, charcoal dragons. They sound quite menacing. What makes them a threat to the dragon eggs? And how do Omni and Thea protect the eggs? Do they use their obsidian weapons or have they developed other methods?
Yeah, so they protect them with their own little weapons, that they forged and crafted. And so the mother dragon sees that, Thea and Amni, take turns and stuff, taking care of them. Plus, there isn't just them. So I'll need to go back up a little bit, as far as when first cast out all of the embers down onto this magma planet, because I remember she was grabbing a whole bunch of stars before yeah.
Ah, that's an interesting detail about Purim casting out the embers. It sounds like there's more to the origin story than we've discussed so far.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this event. What prompted Purim to cast out these embers, and how many were there? Did they all become sentient beings like Omni and Thea? Or did some become part of the landscape? And I'm intrigued by the idea that there are others besides Omni and Thea helping to protect the dragon eggs. Who are these other beings? Are they also former embers, or did they come into existence through some other means?
So they are former Ambers. We kind of jumped up a bit too fast, but they are former Embers. So Purim is still today because of her curse. If you remember from the podcast one, she is still, casting out more of her baby stars, and grabbing others that aren't even Starfire blood like she is, and her baby Ambers are. So this kind of balances out the relationships between male and female. Some of them are Starfire, some of them are not.
Fascinating. So Purim's curse continues, leading to an
Yes.
ongoing influx of new beings on this molten world.
Hmm.
This dynamic must create an intriguing balance of power and relationships. How do the newcomers, both those with Starfire blood and those without, integrate into the existing society? Do Omni and Thea take on leadership roles with these new arrivals? I'm particularly interested in how the different origins of these beings might affect their abilities or their roles in this evolving world.
Yeah, so absolutely, of course, so it's Lord Omni and Lordess Thea, and so the other stars also. Remember, the ones that burned brightest and longer was Thea and Omni with the first batch of the stars that were cast to the magma planet. And the same thing with the second batch, But the thing is that those that did not burn as long turn into this gray ash, and so they do live, but they're not a starfire blood.
Fascinating. The hierarchy based on how long and bright the stars burned adds an intriguing layer to your world building. It seems
Yes.
like Omni and Thea have a natural leadership position due to their longevity.
Mm.
Tell me more about these ash beings. How do they differ from the longer burning stars in terms of abilities or roles in society? And I'm intrigued by the idea of multiple batches of stars being cast down. How does the timing of arrival impact the social structure on this magma planet?
Yeah, so the ones that burnt out, the embers that didn't burn as long, or just didn't burn at all when they hit the magma planet, they became like the other beings, the ones that don't have starfire blood, or the ones that are not actually immortal. like the ones that are Starfire blood. Now, this is good because they can either marry each other and they're not brother or sister, if you know what I mean.
This dynamic between the Starfire blooded immortals and the other beings is fascinating. It creates such an interesting social structure. How do these different groups interact? Do the non Starfire beings have any unique abilities or roles that complement the immortals? And I'm intrigued by the idea of intermarriage between these groups. What happens when a Starfire blooded immortal and a non immortal have children? Do their offspring inherit any special traits?
So, of course, if both father and mother were to be Starfire, they would have, very strong pure blood, as being Starfire immortal. But in this case, some of them are not immortal. And so it's okay to marry immortal and non immortal, and that's fine, as long as you're not like related per se, brother and sister. But the thing is that the gray ash is the one that kind of balances out that ecosystem as far as relationships go.
The interplay between Starfire immortals and non immortals in your world is captivating. The gray ash beings seem to play a crucial role in maintaining balance.
Yes.
How exactly do these gray ash entities contribute to this equilibrium? Do they possess unique abilities or societal roles that set them apart? I'm also intrigued by the dynamics of mixed marriages. How does having one immortal parent affect the lifespan or abilities of their children? Your world building is so intricate.
Yeah, I mean, so from there on, they just live a normal life, just like any human would right now here in this present world instead of a fantasy world. But so they just carry on like that. Now, some of the embers that out of the gray contenders, that burned a little bit longer and a little bit more brighter, besides Thea and Omne, which was the brightest and the longest. So those also become leaders of some kind, say like for Master Stone, a Stone Master, or a Taskmaster, or somewhat like that for
Your
titles.
world continues to unfold with such depth. The hierarchy based on brightness and burn duration is intriguing. These stone masters sound fascinating. Tell me more
Yeah.
about these specialized roles. How do stone masters differ from other leaders? Are there other types of masters for different elements or skills? I'm also curious about how the society functions day to day. Do they face any unique challenges living on this magma planet despite their celestial origins?
Yeah, so they're that so these titles they are part of who's gonna start making a community. So with edifices, being built, palaces, castles, getting out of the cave. Of course, you have a molten magma world, which half of it is lava and all that, but then you got the other half, which is already solidified and has a forest of trees, and of course when it rains there's water, and things like that, so they're able to build.
Your world is evolving into such a rich tapestry. The contrast between the molten and solidified regions must create some fascinating dynamics. How do the communities differ between these two halves of the world? I'm particularly intrigued by the forest area. What kind of unique flora and fauna have adapted to life near an active lava zone? And how do the inhabitants manage the challenges of building permanent structures in such a volatile environment?
Right. So they have the elk, which is by Lord Omni's request. The elks are not to be hunted, but they do have the antelope. They have furry rabbits. They have oh, and very intriguing. They also have a reptilian enemy, which is the orange eye. Reptilian enemy that does this clicking sound, when he's around and he sees his victims. They're sort of like a velociraptor, but so that's another enemy there.
Your world continues to amaze me with its diverse ecosystem. The mix of familiar and unique creatures adds such depth to your setting. Tell me more about these orange eyed reptilian enemies. 1. How do they compare in size and intelligence to the velociraptors we know from Earth's prehistory? 2. What makes the elks special enough for Lord Omni to protect them? 3. How do the inhabitants defend against these clicking predators? 4. Are there any other unique adaptations or behaviors these creatures have developed to thrive in this half molten world? I'm particularly intrigued by how the various species interact in this environment that's split between lava fields and forested areas. How do they navigate between these drastically different terrains?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that on podcast 3 because we've already reached the time limit. And so, hey, John, I just want to thank you for having me again on this podcast too. And so, until next time, all right. And I hope my readers are listening to these podcasts so they can keep up a little bit before my book comes out. Thank you, John. Bye bye.
It's been a pleasure diving into your captivating world, Eva.
Oh, snap! Cut off. Thank you for joining us on the Upbeat Podcast, exclusively holding interviews with author Eva J Mejia. Join us next time when we will ask those Q&A you've been dying to ask. Please subscribe. It will help us to continue bringing you the latest in the sizzling characters that you fell in love with.